Hello, everyone, and welcome to our product training night, where every week we talk about our fabulous products and do a deep dive. And this week, it's my privilege to talk about Mangosteen. Now, before I get started, I would like to just give you a little FDA disclaimer. The statements that I'm making tonight have not been evaluated by the FDA, and our products are not intended to cure, diagnose, treat, or prevent any disease. But with that, we're going to learn a lot about mangosteen. First of all, this is decades now that so many different articles came out in reputable magazines about nutrition, about wellness. In the 1950s, people thought they could get all the nutrients they needed out of their food, and maybe that was true back then. Not sure, but I do know it's not true today. And since then, so many articles have come out talking about all the environmental issues that are causing a lot of challenges in our health these days and about nutritional supplements that can help you biohack those issues. So I'd like to kind of start with a little education on the four pillars of health. And these are things that if we can keep these pillars in balance and healthy, then we can keep our bodies in balance and healthy. And those pillars are inflammation, glucose, oxidation, and stress hormones. Now, let's talk about the inflammation first, balancing our inflammatory system. Now, inflammation has been linked to all kinds of diseases: heart disease, diabetes, cancer, arthritis, bowel disease, Crohn's disease, ulcerative colitis, et cetera, et cetera. Now, there is a test you can get, CRP, C-reactive protein. It's a blood test. It'll measure the inflammation in your body. And I get mine done twice a year. And I really highly recommend that people do that because as long as your numbers are good, your body's probably good, your inflammation levels are good. But when those numbers go high, there is a problem. And then from there, you can go and try to diagnose what that issue is. So I highly recommend that we do that. And we're going to talk about how we can help support our inflammation in our body. Blood sugar levels also extremely important. These can lead to serious health problems such as heart disease, vision loss, kidney disease, so many others. And there is a test you can do for that too. Again, I get mine done every time. The A1C test will measure your blood sugar levels, and we want to make sure that we're keeping those in balance. And of course, we're going to talk about ways that you can help that as well. The next thing is oxidative balance. This is really key. I learned about this almost 40 years ago. Free radical damage that's caused from things like the air that we breathe, the food that we eat, the water that we drink, sunlight, air pollution, stress. There's just so many things that can happen, or our cells get attacked by free radicals. And luckily, we can control that somewhat, and we can also help heal those cells through antioxidants. We're going to talk about that in a moment as well. And then our stress hormones. Cortisol is the body's primary stress hormone. So whenever we're under stress, we get excessive cortisol, but it can lead to some problems. And so there's all kinds of issues when our stress hormones are out of balance. It can also lead to increases in the oxidation, the glycation, and the inflammation. So this one is really important because it'll affect all four pillars of health. But we can simultaneously balance all four pillars of health and improve function and performance at the cellular level. And if we do so, we can truly achieve optimal health and wellness. So let's kind of just look at a little bullet point of what inflammation can cause: Alzheimer's, asthma, cancer, heart disease, rheumatoid arthritis, so many things. Blood sugar, celiac disease, thyroid, diabetes, so many things. Oxidation, cancer, inflammation, joint disease, asthma, diabetes, senility, eye disease, and stress hormones, anxiety, depression, digestive issues, headaches, muscle tension, pain, heart disease, sleep problems, weight gain. Oh my goodness, there's a lot of bad things on this list. But let's talk about how we can balance these four pillars of health and make a big difference and try to prevent some of these things from happening in our own lives. So chances are that you or somebody you know falls into one of these five categories, which are some of the top leading health issues out there: heart disease, the number one leading cause of death; cancer, the number two leading cause of death; metabolic syndrome, obesity, autoimmune disease, brain health, big issues today. Nearly 25% of people suffer worldwide from some sort of mental illness today. So that's the bad news, but let's talk about some of the good news and some things that we can do. Starting with the mangosteen. I learned about this in 2002. The mangosteen actually has a positive impact on all 11 major organ systems in the human body. And these major organ systems affect absolutely everything in our body. And there's very few things that can have a positive impact on all 11 major organ systems. The mangosteen happens to be one of them. Dr. Fred Templeman, he is a consultant to Social X and a medical advisor, and he is considered the mangosteen MD and the world's leading authority on mangosteen. He's been researching it and talking about educating people on mangosteen since 2002. He has a book out there called Mangosteen, the X Factor, which is wonderful, and it goes into a lot of the things that we're talking about here this evening. Let's talk about aging. Different types of aging, functional aging, that has to do with your cognitive function, physical function, mood, mental health, phenotypic aging, which these things can change. Body composition, energy, homeostasis mechanisms, brain health, and biological aging, which can affect molecular damage, defective repair, energy exhaustion, signal noise reduction. But obviously, aging is a thing and something that we're all going to do. But let's talk about how we do that and some of the other contributing factors that come from our environment. So, over the last 100 years, we've made a lot of progress in very positive directions in our world, in our societies. However, we've also gone way backwards because there's a lot of issues today. Factory farming, food coming from factory farms often contains harmful bacteria, pesticide residues, antibiotics, artificial hormones, which can all be very, very harmful. Pharmaceuticals. They found that 128,000 people die from drugs that have been prescribed to them to help them with some other condition. It makes prescription drugs a major health risk, ranking fourth with stroke as the leading cause of death. Workplace dissatisfaction. A lot of people, of course, have lost their jobs, and the world has changed in the last 5 years, and a lot of people considering leaving their jobs. Civil unrest, big problem in our whole world today, and something that really causes a lot of stress and a lot of health issues for people. Plastics. Plastics is becoming an epidemic, and exposure to plastic is linked to all kinds of bad health outcomes like cancer, birth defects, impaired immunity, endocrine disruption, developmental hormone related cancers, reproductive effects, and more. Toxins from synthetic pesticides, herbicides, insecticides, fungicides, all been introduced since the 1930s, but they're contaminating our air, our water, our soil, our food, and leading to all kinds of chronic diseases, birth defects, reproductive issues, and more. Financial stress, big problem in our world today. Used to be that we could support a household with one income. Now it's two or more, and sometimes there are people in one household. Oftentimes there's three generations of people living there. I mean, a lot of households are having to support their parents and their children in the world that we live in today, and the global health crisis, of course. And that's something that's just going to continue as we have become a global world. We travel, we're going to other countries, we're around other people, and that's just going to continue to be a problem. So what can we do about it? Biohacking. If you've heard of biohacking, it's a real thing. It is people out there that are trying to do something to affect all the bad things that are happening to our body. So what can we do? How do we biohack our body? It's simple. It is just a pursuit of human optimization by quantifying and improving the systems of the body. You're just tweaking things like sleep. We can get a little better sleep. Food, we can eat a little better. Supplements, very important. Physical activity, very important. So as we start to do some of these things, we are actually improving our health, and we are uh, going to be able to offset a lot of the issues that are caused by people who are less active or who eat poorly or don't sleep enough and don't supplement. So the one thing that we can absolutely talk about doing right now is supplementation. So through supplementation, we can biohack our brain health, wellness, our physical being, sleeping, anti-aging. We can nutritionally biohack our inflammation balance, blood sugar balance, oxidative balance, stress hormone balance, anti-aging, and so much more. All right, so how do we do that? Food. Hippocrates said, let food be thy medicine and medicine be thy food. It's a little difficult to grow food that are nutrient dense, certainly in North America. I don't know. There's probably still some parts of the world that has pure air and pure water and pure soil and all of the things. But for the most of us, we need to find good supplements that come from food. And when we do that, what we eat is directly correlated with our cardiovascular health, blood sugar levels, bone health, oral health, brain function, cellular life, and so much more. We literally are what we eat. So, by eating powerful botanicals like the mangosteen, we can get all kinds of health benefits and we can biohack all of those pillars and more. The mangosteen, thousands of years of folklore behind it, yet hundreds of modern, recent clinical studies. And we're going to talk more about the mangosteen here in just a moment. But this is what the mangosteen looks like. The inside of the fruit is absolutely delicious, but that's not where all the nutrients are. It's in that outside, very thick peel or rind, or they call it the pericarp. And in that pericarp are these powerful xanthone molecules that we're going to talk about more in just a moment. All right, so let's talk about what it's being used for. And again, this is going all over the world. Thousands of years it's been used in Southeast Asia. In India and China, they use it to treat dysentery and other infectious diseases. Indonesia to control pain and swelling. South America to combat fatigue, low energy, depression. The Philippines to control fever and the relief of sore muscles and aching joints. In Thailand to treat infected wounds, skin disorders, and infections. So many benefits to the mangosteen. And let me give you a little folklore. This is kind of fun. So Queen Victoria, um, hundreds of years ago, obviously, she was traveling the Orient and she tasted the mangosteen for the first time. And she said, this is the most delicious fruit that's ever touched my lips. Um, they call it the Queen of Fruits because of Queen Victoria. But she actually, when she went home, she offered knighthood to anyone who could bring her mangosteen in good condition. Many tried, none succeeded because back then, putting on a boat for 6 weeks or 3 months or however long it took to get across the ocean and all that, it did not arrive. And that fresh off the tree fruit that she had tasted during her trip. Back in 1644, in the Chinese Ming Dynasty, the rind was used to treat a lot of health conditions, and it was the only fruit that sick people were allowed to eat unsparingly. It is given with safety in almost every disorder. That was from an article that was in the Illustrated London News in May of 1885. So let's talk about the scientific name is Garcinia mangostana. The use we talked about, it's recorded back to Chinese text dating to the Ming Dynasty 1268 to 1644. But here's something cool. In 1855, a German scientist was studying dysentery, and mangosteen was helped with dysentery. He wanted to know why, so he was studying this fruit, and he found this yellow crystalline compound in the mangosteen. And so he named it for the Greek word yellow, which is called xanthos. So later, of course, xanthone molecules, as they identified so many molecules in this yellow crystalline compound. So that's pretty cool. In 1979, alpha mangosteen was first identified as an anti-inflammatory in Madras, India. And of over 200 xanthone molecules that exist in nature, nearly half of them are found in the mangosteen fruit. Now, it's pretty impressive because most fruits and vegetables have one or two. The second highest fruit in xanthone molecules is the pomegranate. It has 8. And yet there are nearly 80 of them in this mangosteen fruit, many of them that have been studied, and many of them you're going to find in studies if you do some research on PubMed. There's been several laboratory studies highlighting the effect of xanthones on various bacterias. as well as cancers, diseases, inflammations, and so much more. So let's talk about what else is in the mangosteen. Not just these xanthan molecules, but proanthocyanidins. It was nearly 40 years ago when somebody shared grapeseed extract with me. Proanthocyanidins come from grapeseed extract as well as pine bark extract. And it's 20 times stronger than vitamin C and 50 times stronger than vitamin E. And there were direct sales companies that launched with the story of proanthocyanidins, the story of OPC, oligomeric proanthocyanidins, to be exact, and a lot of companies that did very, very well with just that one story. And yet we have proanthocyanidins in the mangosteen fruit. Polysaccharides, there's other companies that came along, direct sales in the 70s, and one of them is a billion-dollar giant today who started telling the story of aloe vera. Nobody had heard of aloe vera back then. Everybody's talking about aloe vera, and people were all buying aloe vera plants as they learned that polysaccharides, which is the compound in aloe vera, promotes healthy digestion and provides immune support and helps maintain healthy skin. A lot of people today, most people today, almost everyone today has heard of aloe vera and used aloe vera products, which, by the way, almost half of the products sold in the world are still sold through this direct sales company that came out in the 70s because they told the story. And when you tell the story to people and you kind of and the product works, then that's where people want to continue to buy those products from. So guess what? Mangosteen also has polysaccharides. Amazing. All right, green tea. Green tea is a uh, very commonly known as being something that really helps the body. It's got catechins, is what the chemical compound is in green tea that's so nutritional and so powerful. It helps promote metabolism, healthy metabolism, maintain normal cholesterol levels. It helps with the immune system. A lot of people drink green tea every single day, and lots of companies, direct sales and otherwise, are doing very well selling green tea products. And guess what? Mangosteen also has catechins in it. So we not only have the xanthones, but we have the catechins and the proanthocyanidins and the polysaccharides. We also have cytokines and polyphenols and tannins, phenolic acids and anthocyanins, and has one of the highest ORAC values of any botanical out there. It impacts every single major organ system, like we talked about. And these xanthone molecules, 15, more than 15, have anti-inflammatory benefits. Over 15 benefit the cardiovascular system. Over 20 benefit the immune system. Over a dozen benefit healthy blood sugar. Over a dozen healthy brain functions. Close to 100 antioxidant compounds. This is why they call the mangosteen a superfruit. Don't take my word for it. Go to clinicaltrials.gov, go to pubmed.gov, go to the National Institute of Health, National Library of Medicine, ask Google, ask Siri, ask ChatGPT about mangosteen. And if you've got a health concern, ask what the mangosteen health benefits are for whatever your health concern is, and just see what you find on your own. Again, don't take my word for it. This is something that's out there that you can do your own due diligence and get third-party credibility and find out how mangosteen can help you personally. So kind of a summary of the properties: anti-inflammatory, antibacterial, antifungal, antiviral, anti-allergenic, anti-cancer, anti-inflammatory, antioxidant, immune modulatory, anti-aging, pain control, diabetic, anti-parasitic, very important, cellular support, and the benefits are the most important, right? Younger looking skin, heart health, brain health, healthy blood sugar metabolism, healthy cardiovascular system, supports a healthy inflammatory response, assists with weight loss, helps with your digestive health. I think this is worth trying, don't you? All right, let's talk about how mangosteen has come to market. Obviously, in Southeast Asia, it's been used for thousands of years, but until we were able to get commercial products in the United States, nobody had ever heard of it. Most anywhere in the Western Hemisphere, people had not even heard about it because it was not a fruit that you could go get in We just weren't familiar with it. But the first company that brought it to market commercially in the United States was in 2002, and they brought it to market in the form of a juice. And then since then, companies have come out with it in powders. They've come out with it in pills. They've come out with it in teas. I think there's tinctures. I think there's oils. There's all kinds of things. But what they didn't know was mangosteen taken orally really has very poor bioavailability. So in 2023, the very first nano emulsion mist, xantho mist, came out. And when it first came out, it was all the rage because we're able to simply twist and mist this amazing product into our mouth and have it absorbed to the soft tissue of our mouth. And within 4 seconds, it's headed into the bloodstream. And within 2 minutes, it's in all the organ systems in the body. Now, since 2023, we have gone even much further than that. 2026, today, you can get xantho mist. This is the only place you can get mangosteen in a supplement like this game-changing innovation in a nutrient delivery system, which initiates absorption in 4 seconds, gets into all 11 vital organ systems in a matter of minutes. We have a renowned proprietary technology that reduces the particle size up to 1,000 times. It's a true nanoscale encapsulation, helping it rapidly get into all of those organ systems. Our patent pending triple encapsulated technology gets the nutrients through all of the barriers in your cells. And our exclusive cellular nutrition blend delivers essential micronutrients to help heal the cells and rebuild themselves into healthier cells. This is an anti-aging dream come true. Xanthomus Plus only available from Social X, and by the way, with a 60-day money-back guarantee. So absolutely, you should try it and get yourself a 2-month supply and see how it can change your life. Lives are being changed all over the world from so many different angles. I mean, from energy, from sleep, from weight loss, from so many things. Even our animals absolutely love the xantho mist. Lots of doctors using and recommending our xantho mist product. And again, you can try it with that 60-day money-back guarantee. So I want to thank you so much for joining us here this evening. I do want to, again, go back to that disclaimer. I've tried to give you some product education. This is all stuff that I have found to be true in the 24 years I've been using and sharing and learning and educating about mangosteen. But everything I've said tonight, nothing has been evaluated by the FDA. And again, our product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, prevent any disease, but we highly recommend you get mangosteen into your body today and start taking it daily for the rest of your life. And with a 60-day money-back guarantee, we hope you'll agree and try it for yourself. Thanks everybody for joining me. Have an amazing day.